immediately, Jocelyn II, the guy who was the ruler of Edessa, decides to use that moment of chaos to try to retake Edessa. He brings an army to Edessa. He asks for other Crusaders to help him. They don't. He does actually retake Edessa, but Nur ad-Din immediately moves against him and captures Edessa back without much effort. He populates the city with a few families of Jews because he realized that the Jews would be loyal to him no matter what. So Edessa was an Armenian city. The Crusaders were Christian, but Catholic. The Armenians were Christian, but Armenian Orthodox. So they didn't see eye to eye. In fact, by this point, the Eastern Christians, the Orthodox Christians, the native Christians of the Middle East, were beginning to start to really dislike and hate the Crusaders. There was already a lot of fear built up before this, to the point where, at one point, the king's daughter, her name was Alice, she was the princess of Antioch, the ruler of Antioch. She actually led a rebellion against her father. She herself was half Armenian and sympathized more with the native Christian population of the Middle East, but also sympathized with the Muslim population because she's, as a second-generation Crusader, began to identify as a local and didn't see herself like these European invaders anymore. And right, that's within the Crusader population. So one of the things that was happening by this point is the Armenians were starting to think, now we don't know if we want to be ruled by Crusaders. But at the same time, Jocelyn himself was also half Armenian, so they had a little bit of sympathy for him. And so Nur ad-Din goes, okay, I know that the Jewish population is just loyal. I don't have to think twice about it. I'm going to put them in the city just to have a group of people that I know I can rely on as I go back to Aleppo and try to figure out how I'm going to complete my dad's dream of taking Damascus. Damascus is what he needs. So, something amazing is going to happen. Word gets back to Europe that Edessa fell in 1144. The Pope calls for a second crusade. The second crusade explicitly is to take Edessa back and then reinforce the Crusader states to make sure that no other Crusader state falls, and possibly at some point down the road, maybe expand it a little bit, take some more territory. So the second crusade is like the first crusade. It's largely populated by Germans and French. Some of the French are Normans, right? So there's this Norman contingency too, but it's going to include Conrad III of Germany, Louis VII of France. It's going to include actual royalty this time. And these kings are coming along on the Second Crusade because their goal is to partake in the glory, to show themselves, to go to Jerusalem, to be part of this thing that will guarantee them gateway to heaven, where when they die, they will spend all eternity hanging out with Jesus Christ himself. Right? That's why they're going. It's different from the First Crusade. The First Crusade was nobles, but it wasn't royalty. This is a whole new thing.